Okay, welcome everyone to Eternal Present channel. Once again, my name is Sanni Päkkönen and I'm here with Melinda Molnar. We both work with frequency work, and that is very, very much a somatic way of connecting the spirit, soul, and body, and learning how to really operate from a higher frequency space, higher frequency reality, creating that reality from the inside out. So let's see what we're gonna talk about today. Melinda, I will hand it out to you.
Thank you, Sunny. Hello, everyone. So you mentioned the word somatic experience, right? And we can break down a lot of these concepts that we are talking about, and the mind, in a way where the mind understands. But then we still go back to how we used to do things. So really, to pull in this work, to integrate it into you gotta pull it into your body, right? That's why we're here in embodiment. And there's a lot of us who feel, we all feel, if we're touched, but feel as in frequencies, energies, and there's a lot of information in them. And I am one of those who the information comes in, it feels like it comes in through my skin. It feels like my whole body is this antenna. And especially when I'm in nature, it just starts to talk. It just flows. Now, I also know there are people who are not, let's say, as sensitive to their body talking. And how do we open up those senses also? Because everything that we are learning here about frequencies is to be embodied, is to be integrated as permanent wisdom. Mm-hmm. So what is your observation? What information have you taken in that you can share for those who are learning to connect with their bodies more, and also for those who have so much information coming in that they just don't know what to do with it? And there's also that time of sometimes anxiety. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I know that was a kind of like a loaded questions now, but yeah, let's pick it apart. Whatever comes.
It's a great question. It's absolutely a great question. So I absolutely love that you shared or described it as permanent wisdom. It's a really wonderful word for that, permanent wisdom. And like, again, we've been speaking about the eternal and this finite world before, like the difference between the two, so timeless and time bound, etc. And we've been speaking about the spirit, soul, and body dimensions as well. And now anything that happens in, so to say, this world would be fluctuating in and out, because this world is even nature here, even nature is living in the cycle of death and rebirth. And then all these like experiences that we have, say thoughts, they come in, they go out, feelings come in, they go out, cells are born and died, and all of this different thing. It's like there's this constant movement and fluctuation. So nothing is really permanent in that dimension of like when we look through that lens. And so when you say like a permanent wisdom is exactly tapping into that which doesn't change, which is bringing this question into like what in you doesn't change, what in you when your body is aging or shifting and changing, say a woman expecting a child, her body is like going through this metamorphosis and then back again, right, as a different form, but literally shape shifting, right? We're talking about literally shape shifting. And that even during those times when things shift in the physical, the question is like, what in me doesn't change? Is there something in me that doesn't change when, say, mental ideas and beliefs and personality and all that changes? right? So it's always about the combination of the two, that which doesn't change, the permanent, and then that which is fluctuating and shifting and changing. And what is really important there, especially when we start tapping into the feeling piece, there are lots of people who has not been feeling, and there's a lot of feelings that haven't been felt, like over, say, generations. So for example, about 6-7 years ago, I had this really strong vision of, I saw a whole generation of young men around our generation here, or where I was, where I am myself, and generation ahead of me and generation behind me, like the whole generational section of men starting to purge out this anger from their lower bodies, right? This is kind of suppressed anger that has been there for generations, and for long deep anger and abuse and that kind of stuff. And this is not only men, but the vision was for men that I saw it. So that kind of stuff is happening right now, and moving out of the body. So there's that piece, the feeling, is that where the disconnection has been happening is to coming back into the almost a resensitizing the feel. And I see that people's feeling bodies are being activated really deeply. And now then there's the other piece, which is feeling too much, right? Feeling like empathic people who feel they come into a space and they can literally like read everybody's emotions and feelings, and it feels like it's almost like suffocating or overriding your feelings. And then picking up, say, I have many healer friends who would go and heal a physical pain in client's neck, and then a few days later they have the same neck pain because they literally picked it up. So this is not unheard of at all. Like, again, children coming here and who are already here, young adults and even young children, they are extremely sensitive this way of feeling and sensing what's happening around. And so with that kind of sensitivity to feel everything around you, it is utmost essential and importance to know where your coordinate is, right? To know your space. We've been speaking about space-time coordinates. Know where your 0 point is in space and time, because otherwise you will start bleeding into other people's containers. And then it will start feeling like yours when it's not really yours, meaning that you will start carrying manifestations in your body that has nothing to do with you, right? And so especially those healer archetypes who are listening to this, it's really, really important piece to come deeper into that, as we've spoken about the embodiment, instead of like looking for the healing or looking for solutions from the high space, but by leaving the body. But really starting to locate ourselves in this lifetime, in this body, and understanding how those higher visions can be brought into here rather than left from here into those higher spaces, if that makes sense. So.
Beautiful. Thank you. You answered all of them, and flowing into each other. And a few things I wanted to mention in there when you said that you had that vision about men purging. I am currently finishing a course, Rebalancing Your Intimate Identity. And for me, it was the feminine that is purging. And in that I mentioned, and without having known this vision that you had, that the masculine also will shift as the feminine shifts. And maybe another course will come out, who knows what not. And then there was something else in there that you said, about which brought it back pretty much, that anxiety is when you are out of space and time. Earlier this week, it started to come to me to do meditations, kind of like teaching meditations or leading into for people with anxiety. And I made already 2 videos. So this is interesting how this is what we talk about here. It's almost like This is my manifestation
Yes.
to transmit this information, and you're co-creating this with me. I'm
Yes.
wondering, what is your how is this your manifestation? Because this is also what we're doing here. We're doing this as we go by the present moment. So all the listeners who are with us, we're
Mhm.
all co-creating this.
Mhm.
And then you come and notice that permanent truth inside you, because that was the same 5 minutes ago and now.
Mhm.
And right now in here, all of us holding this space, it's such a ripe, nutritious space
Mhm.
to find what is not you and
Mhm.
just release and strengthen that permanent truth.
Yes, exactly. That's a beautiful like the image of like really understanding this as a container where everybody is included and everyone has that unique way of understanding how to really receive this in their lives and then start to see the manifestation of it in their own lives, right? But the source where it comes from is the one and the same. It's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. And with this the anxiety piece, it's so simple. And usually a mind and body that is anxious, which it can happen for many different reasons, and um, nervous system is deeply connected to this. So we've been speaking about the soul level identity that includes the personality and the mental emotional fields and free will. I see the soul like to be like a nervous system of the spirit. So without a soul, we wouldn't be able to really experience this world the same way. In the nervous system, in the physical body allows us to experience this world. And now how we experience this is the interesting thing, because you can be in the same situation. Say that you're in a room and there's music playing. Somebody can be there and have a panic attack, right? Completely like anxious response to the music and to the situation to be in the room, while another person is in the seventh heaven, just like really enjoying it all out. And that's why it's literally is that people exist in the same spaces, but they walk in different realities within the same spaces, right? And this again, the more closer we come to that 0 point and eternal presence, we will start actually operating into the same reality of eternal presence. There's still multiple different expressions, of course, but there's no longer this kind of there's no longer space for separate realities within that one reality, if that makes sense. And this is important. I'm just like giving this background thing here to tie it back into the anxiety than say mind experiences, because mind experiences anxiety when it's either stuck in the past or anxious about future, right? It's simply a time distortion. There's nothing more complicated about it. Your physical body is always in the eternal presence, but through the nervous system is the one that also might get stuck in the past and oftentimes does get stuck in the past or is anxious about the future. So you can think of this, that nervous system there's a physical nervous system in your body, but there's also that energetic nervous system in the body that is reflecting the same pieces, but at the soul level. And so now the deepest medicine for anxiety is to work directly with that nervous system and help to bring the nervous system into the eternal presence. Your body is already there, right? But the nervous system that is almost like this record keeper of the stories that has happened and that may happen, right? Is the one that it needs attention, right? And today we're gonna do just a short meditation to really help to work with directly with the nervous system that way. So
awesome. That was just so fascinating to me, because I know I knew it, but now it was again going in deeper. This is what it is, the embodiment because I was right there with you as you're talking, right? And imagery as it comes in for me too. And is probably imagery, yeah, because our vision is the strongest sense, that almost makes it just about permanent, and then my feeling sense, like, there it is, now you know it. Because to me, if one feels something, then they know it, they've experienced it. You know, when I tell somebody, oh, my toe hurts, and they've never had their toe hurt, like, yeah, that must not feel good. But if they felt that kind of pain before, they're like, oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show that imagery, for in case it helps somebody, that when you were saying that we are on the same physical plane but in different realities, the way I see it is like bubbles, like human are in little bubbles, let's say in a house. And not one bubble is able to be exactly where the other bubble is. It's just,
Correct.
we each have our bubble
Yeah.
around our spine, our nervous system. And when we come to this, that which is truth, and the resonance that this kind of like offers, this platform, and it's almost like all the bubbles then, I'm gonna say almost like their awareness shape shifts to where they all pick up this resonance. It's like this channel opens up and everybody reads this because it all resonates as truth. And then they all start to move as one. You know, kind of like when the crowd goes in at a concert and they all move as one. They are on that same resonance.
Yeah, exactly. And moving as one doesn't mean that we merge into each other. We are still those, the unique beings, but we are moving as a unit in a way which is creating coherent atmospheres, coherent creations, masterminds, collective creations here on Earth as well. That's a really beautiful image that you just like painted there with the bubbles. And it is so because everybody has their time stamp, right? Everybody has their location in space and time that is completely unique for you, and nobody else in that exact same location. So from your perspective, everything is kind of like the universe is you are in the center of the universe, so to say.
Right.
But I'm not saying this from the like egoic point of view of like, I am the center of the universe, but the point that, say, God's mind, God's presence is in all of us, and through our eyes, if you think about this, God is looking through our eyes. We are seeing everything around us that way, and so anxiety happens when we are not aware of that, either in our body, mind, emotional fields, right? So the spirit, soul, body combination. And the greatest gift and tool and goal really is to become fully aware of that location, that coordinate in a way, and live it fully, because that's when we start, that's where we access the eternal and infinite resources, right? And that's where we are truly standing and living from God's presence, and not somewhere like lost in the space and time field, trying to live in somebody else's location, right? That's never going to end up well. And that has happened in human history so much. Even like the education that we've received is like, you should be doing this and this and this and this. It's somebody else giving you those time-space coordinates versus you walking in your space-time coordinates and creating from there, but rather like almost trying to fit in a box that somebody else is laying ahead of us. There is something there that was, I forgot it already. Yeah, it slipped. It will come back.
What I'd like to add to this is when you said we're looking, God's eyes are looking through me, and you see 360 around you. So yes, you are the center. And when you realize that, okay, I am right here in the center, and just that spatial referencing, right? Like, okay, pick a few objects around you. Okay, I am right here. like bringing your awareness right here is the center where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sound referencing also, like, okay, sounds from here, here, here. Okay, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all it takes.
Yes.
And when you're out of it, you'll notice, oh wait, where am I? And it's like, imagine that you're just at a different dot within that sphere,
Yeah.
and it feels off, and you're like, it's off. Okay, let me see, get back to center. There it is, right here. Come here.
Yes. Yeah.
It this information, when integrated, it happens in a breath.
Yes. Absolutely. That is super, super important piece. The what we call the spatial referencing, and this is literally finding your coordinate. Again, like, because if you don't have it, you don't know even where you're gonna go next, right? It's like with the GPS, and the space-time, the spatial referencing can really help. Which is when we say that, it's simply just noticing the ground below, say the ceiling above, whatever is above your head, noticing anything physical on either side of your body, behind you, in front of you. When we practice that, and when that becomes completely automated, it means that wherever you go, whether you're outside or you're in your sleep state, dream state, somewhere out in the non-physical world, or if you're in your office room, you would constantly automatically almost like refer to yourself. You would know where you are, refer to the environment around you. And this is extremely important, because when we do go into those higher states, for example, when we do go into the higher grounds, etc., if we don't know where our coordinates are, there's not going to be any furniture there to refer to. I'm here, I'm like 3 meters or 3 feet away from this thing, right? You'll need to know that internally. And that's why it's so important to practice it physically here with your body. And it's so simple. It is extremely simple, and we'll have a direct experience of it in a moment. It's usually answers pretty much always, they are more simple that we would expect them to be. And that one piece that I wanted to, that was in my mind before, just came up to me again. There's the other aspect of, judging the experience according to how you feel. So for example, like there can be this idea that I feel disconnected, so I must have like fallen out of grace or falling out of connection, or I'm not feeling the divine in this space, for example. Well, divine cannot not be, right? Divine is there whether you felt it or not, right? And so that kind of thinking can really easily throw you out of time. Really, you would think it does the other way, because it's like, well, I'm not feeling good in this space, and therefore there's this like cause and effect that the mind goes into. But when we start reframing that, the true, say, presence of eternal living light, or presence of God, it's always here whether we felt it or not. Otherwise, it wouldn't be eternal. It wouldn't be eternal truth. It wouldn't be eternal healing. That is always here, whether we felt it or not. And as we start to reframe that thinking, we will start spending a lot more time in that knowing that we are constantly sourcing from the eternal. And that significantly releases any kind of stress, anxiety, all the stuff what mind creates when it runs around and tries to look for it from somewhere. Right. And this is the same thing that so many wonderful teachers have said about like presence, just be present, right? But there is this deeper understanding as an embodied revelation coming on earth right now. For those who have ears to hear, you can receive it literally today and anchor into your 0 point so strongly that no matter what you feel, feelings are important, but it's important not to be thrown around by feelings, because feelings are always connected to time, right? And anything that is connected to time is fluctuating. It comes in and it goes out. Now, if you place your confidence to your feelings, you're going to be thrown around with your confidence. You will feel insecurity, you will feel doubts, you will feel sometimes confidence, and you will have these moments of victory, but then you will go back down. that again, sourcing that confidence and the stability from eternal is the most important thing to start to do. And it's immediately available, absolutely accessible to anyone in this given moment.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Before I knowingly started this work or became aware of this expression that we call journey started, I used to think of God as air, always there, always, no matter where you go. It cannot not be there. And well, actually, maybe in containments where they suck it all out, but that's not where we live. So that's one thing I wanted to share, because even just that, just knowing that too, that can bring you back, like my breath, I have the air. It's already within me.
Yes.
Always available.
Yes.
And the other thing is knowing that space and spending more time there, because it is such a wonderful space. This morning I woke up at around 3 a.m. and information just started to flow, as it does for many people. And I started writing without turning the lights on. I just wanted to stay in that sweet space that darkness holds, and information flows. And because I was having a conversation with I, and ultimately it boils down to I love I. And it's such a wonderful space. And the more friends that I make with the I and the space that's like is here for me, or that I expand into, it is really your own intimacy with yourself. And nobody can take that from you. It is fully you, how you want, as you want, available to you at any moment in time.
Yes, absolutely. That's where it really starts from, is if you don't know who you are, how can anybody else know who you are either, right?
Yeah.
If you don't respect yourself, how can anybody else respect you? If you don't value yourself with the highest like amounts, how can anybody else value you either with that way? So it's always coming back to the deeper inner experience. And I want to really expand on that, like the I loving I, and then there's also the I loving eternal God. And again, like God being aspect of ourselves that is beyond us, right? Because nobody who's walking here on earth can create another earth, right? Nobody who's working here on earth can just do the works of the eternal God, so to say. And again, this is totally non-religious, but again, coming to this space of, through knowing myself, the mysterious I who is there, it is a direct, intimate connection to the living light. I'm just pointing behind because that's how I experience the eternal being back behind me. It's like I lean back to it. I lean those resources back to me. So it's almost like taking away the pressure to show up as just an individual. Because, any human can fail you. I can fail you. You can fail me, right? But that living light, that eternal God cannot fail, because it wouldn't be what it is then if it could, right? So completely these are frequencies that are completely undistorted. It's not possible to distort them, manipulate them in any way, right? And so that will help to take the pressure off of you, like almost like, what's the word? Us like performing in life, Like, yes, you create through your mind in every moment, and you're a highly active human being here on earth. But where it really comes to like, well, where is this all coming from? It really is coming from the power behind your sails. You're just directing that power, right? So that's where, again, like helping to lean back to that space can relax the nervous system so deeply. It takes the pressure off when you surrender into that space. And of course, that's easier said than done. One of those things, again, is that if you tell someone just surrender, right, that's not really going to happen, because then you try to surrender, and that's not where surrender comes from. But when you use your free will to continue to open to that, with my personal desire, I desire to surrender into that eternal and start receiving resources from that space. I desire that. That's enough, because that's when you make the choice, and then the eternal is responding.
Yes. Love that. You make that choice.
Mm-hmm.
It is that. It is like standing in front of, okay, I'm here. I'm ready. It's like that. Like, I showed up for class, so I am ready to receive. I showed up for, this is what I am ready to experience. And here it is. I'm right here.
Yes.
You know, but that feeling, that knowing, that energetic, I start. Let me see, how do I put that in words? It is that energetic, full commitment and showing up, and I am here. And as I receive, I transmit.
Mm-hmm.
I receive and I work together with, in coherence with.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's always a co-creation. That's how I really, it's like to say true God is both impersonal and personal. It's both, true God is both the absolute, the vague source, and very, very personal God, right? Who comes in form. And God is all of that. God is not limited to any of that. And so coming from, because we come from that, that's really our true parent, our true home, and coming from that, we are the co-creators of that, because all of us who are here have free will. We have a unique space-time location, we have unique blueprint, we have all of those unique things, but then again, it's like I receive from eternal, and I also give back to eternal, through being this vehicle for truth, being the vehicle for wisdom and whatever needs to happen here on earth, which may be completely not what we think it is, right?
Yes.
And I know so many incredible like examples of completely surrendering to that creator will, like surrendering our personal will to the creator will, and then receiving, ironically, it's like this cosmic joke, then you'll have all the things that you tried to receive with your free will, except it's like 100% more, right? Abundance, money, whatever it is, purpose, all the things comes, but that all only can happen when we really surrender that personal, almost like attempt to create it here on our own without the help of eternal. That's gonna be hard work. I tell you, you can go ahead and do it, but it's gonna be extremely hard work to pour from your personal resources, versus surrendering to that, the space, the eternal space, and start receiving from that space. And now this is the question for so many people, because there are different ways of manifesting. Again, there's this way of completely like becoming nobody, right? You dissolve into the oneness almost, and like dissolve into like no thought space. And then there's also this extremely like kind of moving forward on like knowing who you are as an individual, and allowing the eternal to work through you with your thinking mind, with your, you taking action. And manifestation is a combination of all of that, right? There is no right or wrong way to do it. Only place where we can get it wrong is when we are not present. Anything that you do in the presence, you'll get it right. That's the only rule that there is, because when we're not present, we're not accessing the eternal, the truth. Everything will be slightly distorted or a little more distorted, right? And again, it comes to that one single rule. And isn't that just incredible? We don't have to figure out all the other pieces. Everything else will come from that space. There's just one thing to focus on. And that's all that needs to be happening the rest of your life.
It's easy, just kind of like lay back on the cloud and go for the ride.
Yes.
And just enjoy, or I mean, enjoy, just experience the unfolding, the experiences, the manifestations, you know, and in that space, then there's a remembrance that I wanted to be in body. I wanted to experience this. This is the awesomest thing ever. We come through dimensions to experience this. And then it just shifts into that. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That's so beautiful. That's a really powerful reminder for everyone here. It's like we are really here for a reason. It's not a random thing. And really being in the body it's immaculate gift. It really is. There's so many beings out there who are literally jealous, you know, for this opportunity to be existing in this heavy density where we exist. Of course, we paid the price of moving through that veil of forgetting, which we spoke of last time, I believe. Almost like giving away some of that infinite knowing so that we can exist as a separate being, seemingly separate being, right? Mm-hmm. And there's still going to be, you know, when you're present, fully present, there's going to be challenges, but this time you're meeting them from the presence. And I wanted to share this extremely incredible experience, actually, that I had with a group that I was facilitating. This was like a long-term 6-month group program. We had a really solid group of individuals, and we did this test where I was it was like experiment. Test is a strong word, but experiment where I was generating different frequencies, but I didn't tell what they were. And then everybody made notes of what they felt in the space. And then we had a conversation of how everybody was feeling about each of the things. It was extremely difficult for me. But for example, I was generating the frequency of anxiety and scatteredness, right? And I never intentionally, you know, I never really take time to generate that kind of frequency. So it was like I had to focus like full on. I had to turn my video off, like they don't see my face. Like I just like focusing on generating anxiety and scatteredness. And everyone else in the group picked up those words describing like stress, scatteredness, overwhelm, like all these different words on that, which was really neat. There was one woman who's a psychotherapist on his training, an extremely successful one. And what she wrote down during the anxiety piece, when those frequencies were present, she actually wrote down calm, peace, centered, focused. And this is because she had trained her system to respond to a stress frequency in a way that it didn't pull her with it, but it actually strengthened her to focus and center and calm down deeper. Now that is wisdom. That is full on wisdom. And this is what this frequency level awareness can provide. And that's something that we can even go ahead and copy paste that kind of success pattern, because it doesn't just belong to her, it's available to anyone. That when we meet challenging situations, instead of being pulled over or pushed over by the challenging situations, we can actually strengthen. Our nervous systems can actually start calming down instead of freaking out, right? And now, of course, this is not for those listeners here who have had extreme trauma in body. This requires patience because it is literally rewriting the trauma in the body. But I've seen people who's gone through extreme physical trauma to reframe this actually really quickly. like within just a few weeks completely in their systems, so that their system will start really responding to challenges in a completely different way that it did before. And again, frequency awareness, it's that kind of information is available in the presence when we have eyes to see and ears to hear and hearts to receive it.
Yes, yes. Awesome. I think we're ready for the meditation.
Yes, I was
Yeah, I
feeling
feel
it
it feels
too.
good. Yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Do you feel like you would like to start it actually?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're putting me on the spot. I have to act out of the present moment, pull the information out.
If you just start, we can just do a brief one. I would say like 10-15 minutes altogether. And if you start, and I will bring in the nervous system piece then,
Okay.
whenever it just naturally flows. So.
Okay. All right. You know what? For this, then I will put the phone down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all good.
Okay. All right. Good. Get yourself in a comfortable position. And just notice what you chose as a comfortable position. Is it laying down? Do you typically lay down? Or sitting where you feel a chair or sofa supporting you, either from the back or your bottom? Or is your comfortable position a rhythmic walk? And any of those are perfect. And I invite you to take a deep breath into your body and hold it for a few seconds. And as you exhale, just notice that you are exhaling any form of stress, unease, or even if it's lightness. But it is emptying your body to prepare and get ready for the next brand new breath. And that brand new breath brings a brand new life into this new moment, this now moment. And I invite you to bring your attention into your heart space and go beyond your heart towards your spine. What does it feel like in this space? Now bring your attention to your solar plex area in between your sternum and your belly button. About the middle and inward towards your spine. And find that area that feels like it's your center. That as you breathe into this area and internally you examine how it feels, what part feels like this is it. This is where I can feel me the strongest. And make a connection to your heart space. With your next breath, bring your attention to your sacral area under your belly button, inward towards your back. And notice the difference in between these centers, how they feel. How does your sacral center feel? And connect that with your solar plexus and your heart. And I invite you to see, sense, perceive, or imagine that that center line extends upwards also towards your throat, pineal gland, and crown, and also under your sacral, your root. And it keeps going through the energetic cord that holds you to the core of Mother Earth. And with your next breath, as you pull up frequencies, just frequencies of balance and nourishment from the core of Mother Earth, allowing it to come into your central channel from your root, going through your sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and out. Fountaining back through the edges of your spirit body, about arm's length around you, in all directions. Just breathe into your being in your own sphere. And Sunny, I invite you to bring in the awareness of the nervous system.
Beautiful. So as you have centered here deeper into the body, I invite you to really recognize that you are present here with your body, soul, and spirit. Soul including the mind, heart, and free will as well. So you may even tell yourself that I am here with my body, soul, and spirit. Acknowledging your physical form, your time-bound personality, and your timeless personality, eternal personality. I invite you to bring your awareness to your nervous system. Just feel your nervous system. Those who really know how nervous system looks like, you may go ahead and visualize it. Nervous system is like a mycelium web coming from the spinal cord, the center of the spine, and extending in all directions in your body, also extending, connecting to your eyes, brain, all of your internal organs. Now, as you're tapping into the physical nervous system, I also invite you to tap into the spiritual nervous system, which is the soul. Without soul, you would not be able to experience this human life. I invite you to tap into your spiritual spine. So here you have your physical spine going from the neck all the way down to the tip of the tailbone. But you also have a spiritual spine that is a backbone, the backbone of the I am consciousness. What we're doing here is to help to create this frequency atmosphere for all of your nervous system to be pulled deeper into the 0 point or eternal presence. Your body be sinking deeper into the presence. Your soul, your mind, emotions, all of those beautiful pieces that make you you, to come deeper home, the presence of the Spirit, the presence of God. So as you take inhales, I invite you to lengthen your exhale, allowing it to be a little slower than the inhale. I invite you to receive this powerful transmission right now. The true presence is always here, whether you felt it or not. It's not somewhere out there. You can never fall away. You can never disconnect from the true presence. Just those identities that have spread in space and time that think so. They look for that fulfillment from elsewhere. But here it is. So as you start framing this for yourself, especially in the moments of disconnection, especially in the moments of stress or anxiety, take a moment, use your free will, your decision, your ability to make a decision, to recognize the true presence is here, whether I felt it or not. This will start increasing the presence in your life. You will start spending more time aware of it. And that, my friend, is changing your entire world to a lot higher version of it. Take a moment to recognize the ground below you. Notice the points of contact between your body and the ground, whatever is touching your sitting bones and your feet. Simultaneously notice the ceiling above you, or if you're outside, the sky, the clouds. I invite you to feel the distance in between your body and the object that is above you, say a ceiling above you. You can almost feel it on the crown of your head. There's something above you, and roughly how far away it is. Do the same to the left of your body and to the right of your body. Become aware of anything physical. It could be a piece of furniture or tree or wall. And notice the distance in between those objects and your body on either side. If it is difficult for you to feel it with eyes closed, feel free to open your eyes and look around. This is a very simple practice to hone in your coordinates, to embody the presence. I invite you to do the same behind you and in front of you. Find anything physical, something that is not moving, and feel the distance in between you and those objects. invite you to take a deep breath in and hold your breath for a few moments, really feeling your center line here, running inside of you on from the head to the root of the spine. And then whenever you are ready, please exhale through the mouth. You can gently open your eyes and just take a moment to notice the colors and the shapes and the textures in your environment. You can even take a moment to just look at one detail, something that you may have seen 100 times, but you haven't actually looked at it. A tiny little detail, say a corner of the table or the thread in the fabric of the carpet. And take a moment to just stare at this, really look at this detail for a moment. Physical details are a wonderful way to come into presence, embodied presence. Beautiful. And now you can be aware that or make a decision for yourself that you take this presence, this centeredness with you as you move about your day, wherever you are, or your evening, your night. And just know that you are never out of it. You're literally walking with this presence with you. And it's okay to fluctuate in and out, but the more you start spending time in it, the more it becomes your natural state, until you don't have to think about it anymore. You will know that all of your thoughts, your actions come from that space. And that's where you really start receiving big way, like ideas, wisdom, money, whatever it is, health, from solutions from the higher space. Yeah.
While we were in that space, what I received was to release these two guidance meditations I did for anxiety, and I had one more, and release it free for everyone, because to be in an anxiety space isn't fun, and finances shouldn't be something that stop somebody to receive knowledge and information as to how to help themselves this way. And it felt so good. So yes, things come in when you're in that space. It's very aligned and and strong. And I feel so good about it.
That's amazing. See, it does feel good because it's coming from the true fulfillment, right?
Yeah.
It's not coming from the space of trying to create fulfillment, but it's actually coming from fulfillment itself. We'll get those linked on this YouTube video. So I'll just make sure that I'll get them from you.
Awesome. Okay. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Melinda. It was so wonderful to be in this. It was kind of meandering conversation today, leading into this meditation. And I loved that. That's sometimes the ways of the feminine are like that as well, like water moving here and there. And we are looking forward to going deeper next time. And thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe, please like with buttons up, and share these pieces with anybody who may benefit from it. It's just the utmost importance for us to continue to reach people who can benefit from this. Personally, frequency level teachings and insights for me are something that I wish that I would have received when I was a child, right? And teenager and young adult, and like really honing it in. So we really just want to distribute this to everyone.
Yes. Thank you very much, Sunny. I am excited to unfold more and more information because it's just getting more and more beautiful as we are walking this new land of a higher frequency, or higher, even that's a word of judgment. It's more clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And stronger, more aware of the individuation within the all. It's I think that kind of stabilizing. So yes, excited to see what we uncover next time. And until then, stay present.
Yes. Stay present.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye.